Good morning, class. Today we are going to start talking about the differences dividing the North and South leading up to the Civil War. These are just some of the backgrounds to how the conflict started. The first thing that we'll be talking about is regional differences. The regional differences. The factories were increasing in the North, causing more people to move to the North from the South, which is called urbanization. Urbanization is moving from farms to cities. Farming still remained in the South, though, and was a major part of their economy. Most people in the South lived on small farms, but the wealthy plantation owners were the South's leaders, leaving more people living in the North than the South. Okay, why do you think that is? Well, in the North, there was more factories, which enabled the people to have make a better living and create a better economy. So the people moved to the North in order to find work for their families. I'll leave this slide up to give you time to write it down. The slave economy was a major factor leading up to the Civil War. The cost of feeding, housing, and clothing slaves was high, so the plantation owners in the South couldn't make money. The slaves worked as miners, carpenters, factory workers, and house servants in the South. Most worked on plantations, though. In 1860, 1/4 of white Southern families owned slaves. Large plantation owners owned more than half the slaves. This is just a pie graph showing slaves in the South in 1860. As you can see, most families didn't own slaves. King Cotton. The cotton gin was invented by Eli Whitney. The cotton gin removed the seeds from cotton fiber. This meant that cotton could be prepared quicker for market, and it was with it being sold to the textile mills in the North. One thing that the cotton gin did, an after effect, was that it created demand for more slaves. This increased the need for people in the South, the farmers in the South, to have slaves. The North and the South disagree. The disagreement was about the states' rights and slavery. The North and the South have argued about these since colonial days. Southern states didn't like Northern industry, and the biggest argument was over slaves in the Western frontier. The reason that the Southern states didn't like the Northern industry is they felt that the North was taking advantage of them by forcing them to buy goods from their industries. The Western frontier. Northern believed slavery should be limited to the South. The South believed they could take their slaves wherever they wanted. The number of slaves continued to grow in the South, and the number of enslaved people continued to grow when they were taken west. Those that were in the South took them west with them as they moved. Once you have all the slides written down, you will take a short quiz on your Skyward account. There's a 6-question quiz, and you may use the notes that you have written down to take that quiz. You cannot at any time go back to this recording while taking the quiz, so please make sure that you have all notes written down for this particular quiz.